Wait on Me, the fourth mini album released by Kai. Okay, let me start over. I cannot believe this is real. We are finally out of the trenches. Okay. Wait on Me, the fourth mini album released by Kai, seems to universally prioritize many different elements of dance music, but oddly sedates these elements into very muted tones to develop an overall mellow project. It's a dance music album, but surprisingly subdued, with not a lot of vibrance that immediately jumps out at you. This might just be the colors on the album cover, but if this album metaphorically places us on the dance floor, we've wound up dancing all the way until 5 or 6 in the morning. Wait on Me feels musically like the surprising realization that you've been dancing all night, getting a glimpse of the pale blue sky outside to realize that you won't be able to sleep before the next day begins. Maybe this album is the quiet and solemn walk back home at 6 a.m., still reeling from the bass of the music in the club that vibrated your bones as you walk in silence, and the fatigue of having not slept is starting to set in. I think the soft, muted, but still screeching synth that opens on the title track at the top of the album sets the scene with great precision. There's such a post-apocalyptic feeling to this album, despite a clashing dreamlike soundscape. As the title track, Wait on Me develops the album's concept in a meta sense, as this is the first album from Kai in almost 2 years following the completion of his mandatory military service. While it can just be a song about asking a love interest to take things slow, emphasizing the genuine value of allowing feelings to mature over time, it's also in a meta sense very on theme for Kai as an artist for all of the same reasons, for his fans who have waited for him to finish military service. Again, with the early morning imagery and soundscapes, this album musically feels like a new beginning, a slow rising of the sun to signal a new day both for Kai and for his fans. The album yields a mixture between Kai's signature tropical sounds with such a consistent incorporation of existential, retro-futuristic synthwave production. This is felt most strongly on songs like Raiden, which makes effective use of a flourishing synthwave refrain all throughout the song. The album makes very prominent use of instrumental break sections, which isn't new or unexpected for Kai as a dance-focused performer. These sections work to, of course, show off the great production, but it also creates these profound moments of silence. Again, it's the moments where I'm spacing out while walking home at 6 a.m. in the rising daylight, thinking about everything but somehow also nothing at the same time. In this sense, the album makes great use of these retro-futuristic music features. These synths of the 80s and 90s give an off sense of nostalgia because it was an off interpretation on what the future would sound like. And you know how I feel about feelings of liminality in music. I am a huge fan, and this seems to be the overall next step from traditional dreamcore aesthetics, is to adopt these darker, more existential sounds and imagery. The end product that is the Wait For Me album is honestly kind of divisive. The album carries a lot of characteristics that I think people have grown to resent, especially in K-pop. Adult Swim, as the front-facing release of the album, is just over 2 minutes in duration, melodically sparse with an empty chorus that hinges on the efficacy of a spoken word refrain, the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse in K-pop in many ways. While maybe not the best choice of a lead single in the moment, as it kind of fails to read the room regarding sentiments of this more TikTok-focused production, Adult Swim's forcibly sedate delivery explains the soundscape of this album quite well, even as it does position itself as the second to last song on the tracklist. It conveys such optimistic sentiments that are tinged with an unavoidable depth, swimming in a body of water, floating at its surface, only to eventually realize that there's an expansive deep that is waiting to be explored beneath. This characterizes Kai's sentiments approaching the album, and why he came about releasing another project so quickly after finishing Enlistment. A lot has changed for Kai as a person in the past 2 years, and he returns with this album so soon out of a genuine fervor to resume his role as a K-pop idol. The ocean-like depth described in Adult Swim, and why I think this idea was chosen to introduce the project, seems to be this discussion about the passage of time. While we know Kai wasn't exactly thrilled to be enlisting in the military, to be cut off from his work as a K-pop idol, it seems the lesson, or maybe just the ideas he pulled from that time, is simply just that. The passage of time is inevitable, no matter what you're doing. Wait on Me is a song and album that looks introspectively on how the passing of time has a universal value, even when situations are grim or undesirable. Both in relationships and just in life, allowing your thoughts and feelings to mature with time will give you a better idea of how you truly feel. It's not a bad thing to simply just wait, to take the time for yourself to decide how you feel. So while these past 2 years couldn't be used to develop his craft as a performer and artist, the way he has changed as a person has influenced the music he is releasing after the fact. In my mind, this all works to explain the album's strikingly subdued atmosphere. It's a project that wants to take its time, a playlist of songs that are musically designed to get you alone with your own thoughts. Wait On Me boasts quite an expansive catalog in terms of style and genre. We have techno, Latin, Afrobeats, tropical, a little bit of hip-hop in terms of percussion, Jersey Club at the end, and more. I love it so much. It's an incredible capstone moment, synthesizing who Kai as an artist has been before. It pulls from all of his past projects quite liberally and uses all of that to subtly push in a forward direction. It doesn't significantly transform Kai's identity as an artist, but I also think that's part of the narrative package. He's had time to adjust as a person and is just now and slowly but surely resuming his progression as an idol. Yeah, 10 out of 10 Grammy sweep incoming. Favorite songs right now. I think the top 3 are Flight to Paris, Ride In, and Wait On Me for now. But yeah, thank you for watching this. If you did, let me know what your thoughts are on this album, especially regarding the overall tame delivery. I wonder how it may resonate with people who are more than ready to move on from softcore and so on. Yeah, thanks again for watching. Subscribe if you want to, and I will see you next time.